Good morning. Welcome back into Wake Up America. According to an article in CNN, Hunter Biden's lawyers are going to meet with the Justice Department this week as scrutiny over the investigation into the president's son intensifies.
Joining us now to break it down is former acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker. Sir, thanks for joining us. Okay, so take us through what happens next in this case.
Yeah, well, good morning, and it's good to be with you both. You know, this is a typical step when prosecutors give the defense team really two options in this meeting. They're going to talk about settling the case and pleading to charges, and then the defense team is going to present, their version of the case and why the feds shouldn't bring this case. I've seen these meetings happen often. Usually nothing comes out of it, although it is typically the first time, for example, the criminal chief and even possibly the U.S. attorney would sit down with the defense lawyers and hear what they have to say. So this is a big step. What's next? I mean, we've heard the reports that, DOJ and the politicals of DOJ, including Merrick Garland, have been trying to block this case from even happening. And so I think this is it's a big pivot point right now in this case.
Okay, so you were Attorney General. How stunning is that the person who might be holding this case up at the DOJ is Merrick Garland himself?
Yeah, I think, theoretically, as Attorney General, I was always prepared to, take action if necessary. I never had to because obviously the system worked the way it worked. I think it's very surprising that Merrick Garland would be willing to step in and try to prevent Hunter Biden from being charged with, these alleged tax fraud cases. And so, it's extraordinary, but I think every attorney general, understands the position they're in, that they need to make sure that regular order is followed and that the rule of law is followed. And I just don't think Merrick Garland has done a very good job of that, because I think he's been too often inserting himself in politics, whether it's appointment of special counsels or whether it's in this case blocking Hunter Biden from being charged.
Yeah, we have President Biden who's expected to announce his re-election bid tomorrow. Does this affect President Biden in 2024 at all, you think?
Yeah, remember in 2020 when Joe Biden, beat Donald Trump, one of the reasons was because this story and Hunter Biden's legal challenges and corruption was suppressed, by the mainstream media, by Twitter, by Facebook. And so, this is the first time I think many voters actually understand the gravity of what Hunter Biden was doing and inculpation of Joe Biden in some of those schemes. And so I think, this could have a relevant impact on that small margin of voters that actually decide these elections in the several states.
Yeah, good point. Mark Halperin was just saying that in an earlier segment. Basically, it's a really tiny segment of the population that both sides need to reach in order to win in 2024. Take a listen to what Delaware Senator Chris Coons had to say on Face the Nation yesterday.
I am. Look, President Biden, from the days he was campaigning to his first days as president, made it clear that he thought restoring the independence of the Department of Justice, removing any political influence for potential investigations, was a core value that he brought to this service as president. And I'm confident that that's in no small part why he chose a seasoned circuit court judge, someone with also deep experience at DOJ. I am confident that Merrick Garland has conducted himself appropriately here.
Okay, Matt, do you think Hunter Biden ultimately faces some charges?
Well, if there's no political interference by Main Justice, yes, I do. But, Chris Coons obviously is just a political flack for the Biden campaign. He's closely affiliated with him. Is from the same state. And so I don't think anything he says is anything but political spin. All
right. Former Acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker, we appreciate you being with us on a Monday morning. Good to see you. We'll keep an eye on it this week.